Hi everyone, this is my module on tort liability, and my name is Jessica McGrail. So first I'm going to talk about what is tort. So it's an actionable or civil wrong committed against one person by another that is independent of a contract. So that means that if you are negligent in your actions, or that you purposefully do something, that you can be held liable. So liability may result from deliberate acts committed by another or acts involving negligence. So that gets us into the next point of there are two types, so intentional and unintentional. So intentional means like things that you do purposefully. So defamation, false arrest, battery, libel, slander, assault, etc. Unintentional means that there is negligence. So like you didn't mean to, but it just sort of happened. So I'm going to go into some court cases here. The first one I'm going to talk about is Mitchell versus Cedar Rapids Community School District. So the first bullet is going to tell you about the summary, and the next three bullet or numbers are going to answer the questions within the module. And this will be the same progression throughout all of my court cases. A student with special needs was sexually assaulted by another student, and the school was held liable for negligence of the supervision. This also happened off campus during after school hours, but it was at a school event. So the school was held negligible, and that this student was supposed to be supervised at all times, and she happened to get away from supervision and ended up being with the student and being sexually assaulted. So as a future administrator, I believe my first reactive measures were to ask why the student left the property and why we didn't realize that she left and why no one was contacted. I mean, that would be my very first initial steps, and then I feel like there are so many more progression steps that need to be happened further if it happened to be a big deal. Second is preventive measures. So I need to create a plan of supervision that has checks and balances, obviously, because I need to make sure that my students are staying safe and that we are having supervision for the students that are obviously needing it, especially students with special needs. And then the last one is ethics that are beneficial is active supervision to prevent negligence. So we need to make sure that we have a plan in place that supports active supervision. That means that we are close to the student, we're monitoring what they're doing, we have a schedule of where they're supposed to be at all times. And my picture is adult supervision required. So my next one is Barrett versus USD 259. So this happened when a student died after football practice because the coach was negligent in meeting the needs of the student on a hot day. Basically what happened was they were having a football practice, and the students were not allowed to have enough water breaks, and a student happened to die after the football practice, and he was taken to the hospital. Reactive measures, I would stop all practices in the heat when it's above a certain temperature, require water to be provided, and breaks at all practices. That's the least I could do, and again, I believe that there's more preventative measures or reactive measures that need to happen, but I need to do a lot more investigation. Secondly, preventative, create break schedule for future practices for all sports that require 2 signatures that they happen. So I need the coach, assistant coach, whoever was monitoring at that time to make sure that that actually happened. And third, I mean making sure that we're checking the needs of students and putting them before anything else. This sounds like it was completely negligent and that we have some selfish right that is happening, that we think football is more important than our students' health, and obviously that is not correct. My next one is Johnson & Johnson versus School District of Millard. So this student was injured during a music class due to negligence of supervision. As you can see in my picture over here, they were doing a song of London Bridges, and the student was flung into a bookshelf and had to get 50 stitches above his eye. And it tore his muscle above his eye, and he had to he still had blurred vision for a while. And so basically, the school was held negligent of supervision. So reactive measures, I would ask that the teacher find another activity to do to meet the unit standards and not do that song again, obviously for the rest of this year. I would not want her to continue this because obviously she was not being correct in her supervision and teaching of the students. Preventative measures for the future, I would create a plan that with a music teacher on how to teach students to appropriately do the song that adds reinforcement for them doing it correctly, because obviously we need something to want them to do it correctly and not have them flinging each other to be more fun. So ethics that are beneficial is having active supervision to prevent negligence, and I also believe that she would need to be teaching how what is right and what is wrong. The next case I'm going to talk about is Hohem versus Manhattan Beach City School District. So this child was struck by a motorcycle when they left school, and parents sued for negligent supervision. However, the school district did not realize that they had left school grounds, so they did not realize that they would be negligent at that point. But they did find them that they were negligent and that they should have known where the student was or contacted someone. So reactive measures, I would ask the teachers that are responsible for the location of the student, what happened, and we need to problem solve what can we do in the future. And that's, again, this is with all the cases. I feel like we need to talk about this at the least, but there's so much more to talk about but this is the beginning point. Preventative measures, I would create a plan with the building to prevent students from leaving the property, but if they do decide to leave and we can't prevent them because they are too large and we can't control them, or there are situations all the time, what do we do when they leave? We need to, one, know that they leave, and two, what do we do if they leave? Ethics that would be beneficial, again, having an active supervision to prevent negligence. We need to know where our kids are at all times and be actively supervising them. The next one I'm going to talk about is Burrington versus City of Philadelphia. So this one was a student was running in the gym, and he hit the concrete wall in the school gym that was unpadded. So the parents took him to court, and the school was held liable for students running into unpadded walls in the gym. So this was one that was surprising to me because I wouldn't think that school would be responsible for that. But they were, and some reactive measures that I would have is that I would talk to the gym teacher to ensure that this wouldn't happen again. To also find barriers to temporarily put up until mats could be ordered. Obviously, we need to mat the whole wall if this is going to be a continual issue, or we need to prevent it from happening again. So preventable measures, I'd make sure the gym teacher is talking to the students about safety and that he or she is actively always showing active supervision. I think there's huge part in teaching children of what is okay and what is not okay, and making sure that we are making that part of the lesson. So again, having active supervision to prevent negligence is like the overarching thing of tort liability. Thank you for listening. That's my 5 articles of court cases.